You know what? No, we're gonna do the count of Twitch organizers denouncing Alan, just while that's like fresh on the brain. Let's hop over to the old Twitter. I swear this one single event is like jumpstart my involvement on Twitter. I haven't touched it in years now. I'm just like bringing it up at least once an hour just to see what's going on. I'm gonna start keeping account of Twitch organizers denouncing Dr. Allen's statement 1. So we got Bobak. I'm not gonna be reading every statement they put out, just maybe like the first initial one. Not going into detail, but from the very first moment Alan opened his mouth to the last time we spoke, nothing but snake-like sounds could be heard, like that shit in Harry Potter. Quite an aggressive opening. And he goes on to say that he's dealt with a lot. I've had the misfortune of dealing with a lot of manipulative people in my life, so when I hear him talk, I was immediately put on guard. Most of the shit he's saying in that 31-page garbage tweet is a lie. It's riddled with manipulative ways of speaking, and it's just more of what I expect of a guy who thinks he's the fucking savior of Smash. Yeah, that's the thing I didn't bring up earlier. It's like it's almost like Alan has like this messiah complex of like he's the one. I'm bridging the gap between Nintendo and the community. Come through me like I am Christ. You can only get to heaven through me type of deal. I am the way. Come to Panda. He's not saying directly join Panda, but he's like come through Panda to get your events and all this shit set up. Of course, he brought up his arguments of like, yeah, a lot of the things I've been saying have been twisted to make me look like some kind of villain when I'm just trying to help. I don't know, it kind of reminds me like some Reagan trickle-down economic shit where it's like, hey, this will just help everybody, you know? And then really, no, you're just helping the guys at the top. And now he's defending Beyond the Summit. Without them, we wouldn't be able to operate. Being on the Panda Cup meant giving up some sort of deal, I guess. Okay, so we've got one guy here disproving Alan. Let's go to the next guy. Since one of the tournament organizers has mentioned it publicly now. All right, here we go. I've heard nearly every tournament organizer say that Alan talked about wanting to buy out the rights to their tournament brands. His goal was to own the entire ecosystem. Okay, a counter argument. Alan's not trying to get everybody like he says he is. A big umbrella that shields us all. I guess he's just trying to get everybody underneath him, like he's at the top of a pyramid or something. We have a counter argument here. Definitely a power move, but I don't think it affects the actual events of this situation much. Alan claims that he didn't threaten everyone, but the context of someone saying they want to own your brand, Smash World Tour is dead, and your broadcast rights are in danger is 100% a threat. All right, that's 2. Let's go into 3. And this guy is responding to the first dude to come out, saying that that dude was like a snake in the grass. So in the same meeting, he mentioned one day hoping to buy, own Battle of BC and the events on the cup. That's what triggered me to be wary of him from the jump. I think Bobak has captured things well. Have heard several accounts of Alan saying something to the effect of, I want to buy, own your event. When Alan talks about concessions he made to Panda Cup tournaments on this shit, it comes after Nintendo had calls with all of your favorite tournaments and realized he was scaring the ever-loving fuck out of them. The issue with this is a lot of these are responses to other threads. We haven't read the first part of it. I'd like to cite a situation that happened between Genesis and Beyond the Summit that, this is Ken, could have completely thrashed us over privately in Okay, so they're just coming to bat for Ken here in the bad image that Alan was painting for him. They're all saying this guy's full of shit. Ken's a great guy. Okay, so far we have 7 tournament organizers denouncing that statement. Okay, but the real big one though is Ken himself. Maybe this will just like any like blanks that I'm drawing from Alan's thing, to where it's like I can't take him at 100% value because I'm only hearing his side of it. Hopefully Ken can bring some better arguments to it. And apparently Ken says they've been predicting this whole drama situation since March. I have no idea who LD or ID is, but whatever. I guess he's somebody that works close with him. Maybe he's currently at Beyond the Summit. I don't know. Also, here's us predicting this drama and situation happening in March, which is why I didn't speak out earlier about this whole thing. I did not want the entire community and Panda as an organization to suffer. Sounds like he is so desperate that he is trying to get Nintendo to bully tournament organizers into working with Panda. Yeah, I don't think that can even happen though. And yeah, the response is definitely a massive PR response, which gets the entire community to say fuck Panda and fuck Nintendo. Because Nintendo does actually care about public backlash, and this would be the biggest public backlash in history. It'd be shutting down every major tournament organizer's ability to sell sponsors and broadcast rights. Yeah, it's the death of competitive stream smash. Here we go. This is what I've been waiting for. Ken's personal response to the 32-page statement started off beginning of this Twitter thread from the man himself, Ken Shin Hotbid. Here's me talking to Alan about running to Nintendo and banging on doors about broadcast rights is potentially an existential threat to the entire scene. Cut off in his screenshot. Both the tournaments selling broadcast rights and broadcast being monetized. It's been like this for 8 years. They have a problem with that now. It's been 100 events with that. Well, I hope they don't. That'd be pretty catastrophic for every single event. I imagine this is him talking about Nintendo changing their deal on it. I don't know what they're thinking right now, but yeah, it could get rough in some situations. Well, I hope not. That'd be real bad. Well, that was definitely missing from Alan's statement. Oh, here we go. The threat. Let's do this. In the call that Alan threatened Beyond the Summit multiple times, I reported the threats as the call was happening and directly after to his boss. At the time, he was not on the call, but was there as I typed a transcript of it on Slack. Here's a screenshot of me just doing that. Well, it's another he said thing. Dude, Alan's on the call, legit threatening me. About 2023 was on the call. Okay, so that's his boss. Has he confirmed this? No, he's just coming to bat for Ken, really. I don't see any, like, personal agreement on what he's saying here. To be clear, I did not yell or explode at Alan at all. He was extremely hostile and exhausting to talk to. Apparently, oh, here we go. In fact, part of the reason I left Beyond the Summit to join Team Liquid in June was because I never wanted to deal with Alan or Panda again. I confided this to multiple people as I left. Panda themselves issued a statement saying they regret Alan threatening Beyond the Summit, yet he completely denies it happens here in what we read. He had no ill intent with his conversation with Ken. I don't accept your apology because even here you don't actually apologize. You even say accept Ken and only admit the conversation was perceived wrong. Beyond the Summit refused to collaborate with Alan largely because of his conduct, not because of me. I simply reported the exact truth of the conversation, which LD, his boss, and other Beyond the Summit leadership can verify happened right after the call with Alan in March. Well, there's no comment response on it. I really hope more comes of other people confirming this is what happened, that he was in the call with them. He's like, dude, he's threatening us with Nintendo and shit. I have not been publicly and privately turning people against Panda for months. I've simply been telling the honest story of what happened, which was threats and bullying that Panda, his own organization, even admitted to happening. We did cover that. It's like we said earlier, we heard Alan's whole ordeal there, but we talked about it in an earlier video that Alan personally went and threatened them. Alan denies it, but now we have Ken saying other people can back him up that no, Alan was threatening us. Of course, I would actually like to see these other people back him up on it. I am not some crazy boogeyman trying to take Panda down. I'm someone that cares about the Smash scene and knew this exact situation would play out like it did. The reason I didn't say shit since March was precisely because I didn't want to blow this up. Well, my man, it is blown up. And I am out of water. Alan's account of the entire situation with Beyond the Summit is so disjointed and riddled with lies, it's difficult to respond. I don't even know where to start with it. This conversation transcript he posted with me is just not what happened. Full stop. Not even closer, so what the fuck? Yeah, see, it's like I said, it's like, how do I know this is what happened? This is all 100% his own transcript that he's coming up from with memory, I guess, so... No, I took that one with a grain of salt, and now we've got Ken here confirming it's absolute bullshit. I wasn't trying to get tournament organizers to turn on Panda. They privately complained about Alan constantly to me, which we saw they were complaining. I don't know if it was those exact ones, but they confirmed that no, Alan was not the most approachable person in this situation and did not come off like the saint he paints himself to be. So we've got like 7 tournament organizers, and now we've got Ken saying that what Alan is going on about is a bunch of baloney. So the tide is shifting more towards Alan is not being honest in that statement at all. He might have had good intentions, but he's not being 100% truthful, and he's trying to paint himself in some kind of sainthood light, like a martyr for the Smash community. I'll let the other tournament organizers say their own story about it, but at some point dealing with it took up too much of my time. I couldn't work on anything else for Beyond the Summit. If it's any other tournament organizers, I really hope they come forth on this. I am not some boogeyman that orchestrated this whole takedown. The other tournament organizers didn't work with Alan because they didn't like his conduct. They didn't trust him as a good representative to Nintendo, and what he was offering wasn't good enough. The fact that Alan didn't address the claim that Nintendo said they would talk to him about his behavior makes this a lot more believable. A conversation about his behavior would be important to put in the document, and if the conversation didn't happen, Smash World Tournament would be lying then. True, I have no idea who that guy was, but if we've had like 3 different people now say that Nintendo had a talk with him about his attitude after all these tournament organizers came running to him, or all these events came running to Nintendo after dealing with Alan. The Smash World Tournament statement is largely accurate, at least to the stuff about Beyond the Summit. Anyone that knows the history between video game boot camp Beyond the Summit understands I would not say this unless it was the truth. I don't work for them anymore, but I still care about Smash more than any competition between organizations. When we first invited Alan to come to Summit and talk about the Panda Cup circuit in November 2021, the first thing out of his mouth was about how Smash World Tournament was going to shut down, or was going to get shut down. Dozens of people heard it, and many can corroborate this. Alright, that is one argument I will still 100% believe, though. He might have had good intention, but he probably did some very sketchy things on trying to get things to go his way, such as planting seeds of distrust towards Smash World Tournament being shut down so more people would be inclined to go to Panda. We talked about this in previous thing. This next screenshot is nuts. I have no idea how to respond to this. I've been running Smash events for 8 years. I've been part of many communities, including StarCraft and Dota, and I think my relationships with track record speaks for itself. Oh, the whole of him willing to jeopardize the entire Smash community. I still want to know what that legal issue was that would have just like blown everything out and made it bad. I really want to know. Hopefully Ken goes into detail on it. Maybe he can since he's no longer with them, or maybe he had to like sign a non-disclosure on the whole thing. To all Panda Global employees, I'm sorry this guy happened to you. For those that are departing, I hope you find good homes elsewhere. You don't deserve to have your careers in the brand you built destroyed by one person. Alan legit killed your passion for Beyond the Summit. I left them and joined Liquid for a variety of reasons, but part of it was definitely not having to deal with Alan and Panda again. It was not the major reason, but was part of it. Okay, I guess this is the end of his thread. Now he's actually responding to replies. I don't know much about this Ken guy, so I'm unfamiliar with like his work and how he's perceived in the public, but a lot of people on Twitter seem to be jumping to this guy's defense. More so than Alan's. I've seen like maybe 3 positive outlooks coming out towards Alan after his statement dropped, but a bunch of the community is still against him after that, and they're not taking everything he says with honesty and truth. I want to see the rest of this transcript though. If he was talking to his boss, L Deep, it's like, what is he threatening you with? I know it's like Nintendo's gonna get involved, but what did he directly say? I want to know what these threats are. I want more information. Alan brought his screenshots. A whole thread of tournament organizers shut down on some of those arguments. And then you got Ken shutting down another good chunk of the other arguments, at least relating to him and Beyond the Summit. I think the only piece we've got left now of this is Smash World Tour. That was the big thing to me. Like whenever I first heard that, because I read it today that he said that the whole block never even existed, it was never even planned, I legit thought about calling that hotel in San Antonio just to see if I could get any like somebody to like say if they had any events that were canceled or planned for the month. But then after, you know, seeing this, I'm like, okay, I don't need to do that anymore. There's our proof it existed. It was planned before it was shut down. This is a lot shorter before we get to the Smash World Tour statement. Video Game Boot Camp put out their own statement. I guess we'll quickly read through this. It is with much regret that we announce that we must cancel both upcoming major Video Game Boot Camp Smash events. We will have more details in the coming days, but we needed to make an announcement as soon as possible. At the moment, our future is uncertain in regards to running major tournaments, but as of right now, based on our recent communications with Nintendo, we would be putting ourselves at further risk if we continued forward with our current plans. We are hopeful that this does not mean that we will not be running major events in 2023, just that our future is certainly uncertain. It has honestly been difficult to even gather our thoughts and to put them into words. We have been racing around the clock to get our business in order and figure out our future plans while also rushing to get this statement out in a timely manner. We want to apologize to everyone who this negatively affects, our team, partners, players who've registered and planned their schedule around our events, just everyone. To everyone we couldn't tell in advance. We also want to apologize to you. We had to get this out as soon as possible, and especially with the holiday weekend. We had minimal time to do anything else or communicate with anyone. To be totally transparent, we're still figuring out what we're going to do, but much of it is up in the air. We are hopeful things will turn around, and we will keep everyone in the loop if any event statuses change. Video Game Boot Camp. I forgot how I got to that whole document. I think it was part of a thread involving Smash World Tour's statement. Okay, now here we go. Smash World Tour statement. Big one. We are hopeful this is the last response needed now that all sides have spoken their piece. One thing we want to make clear at the outset, we do not condone any harassment or doxing of anyone. 100%. We 100% agree the Smash community is better than that. Clearly not. We will be quickly addressing the main parts of the statements addressed to Smash World Tournament Video Game Boot Camp, as many accusations were thrown and as others as well. Okay, so response to Dr. Allen's statement. We are incredibly disappointed at the loose claims directed at us without evidence. Dr. Allen mentioned that he was not aware of most of our conversations with Nintendo all year, yet speculates on numerous topics regarding those conversations, including questioning why we would even pursue a license with Nintendo in the first place. The statement begins with a number of assertions made about a long-term plan or gambit, inferring that Smash World Tournament 2022 was never meant to occur, including... Oh, he's bringing up there was no block. This allegation absolutely baffled us. The implied overarching narrative that we might have somehow planning to not ever run the championships. We could never have predicted Nintendo reaching out to us just 2 weeks before our event, the day before Thanksgiving, with both verbal and written notice that we could no longer operate without a license, especially after positive communication with Nintendo for almost 12 months to that point. As outlined in detail in our original statement here, this was not something we could have planned for in the slightest. All of our efforts at the time were in the last minute planning stages of the tournament regarding the venue, hotel, dozens of player flights, etc. Just yesterday, we received our final invoice and payment plan for our primary hotel block of hundreds of room nights that we are still responsible for. The wire transfer to the hotel page we looked at for that event And this is what I was saying on why they would sink their own ship. We are also losing significant sponsorship revenue tied to the event, as well as absorbing massive sunk costs this year due to canceling it. Not to mention the additional hundreds of thousands of dollars lost in sponsorship agreements for 2023, as well as multiple years of work poured into Smash World Tour, especially the 2021 tour, which was a very challenging labor of love where we organized around 25 events due to COVID's effect on in-person tournaments. Okay, and this is Alan's statement. Since they were in communication with Nintendo and were verbally told, you know, it's like, they should have emailed them. He's like, hey, can you confirm that we're still good to go on? Just for clarity, that's the statement they're going on about. Again, to clarify, there was no confusion. We had a year-long correspondence with Nintendo, and we knew our particular situation was very unique. We were reminded throughout the year that even if we were not to get a license in time, we were building for the long-term future, and that's where the focus was. In our call with Nintendo the night before Thanksgiving, we asked if we could continue to operate without a license for 2022 and 2023, with the same mutual understanding as before that we would not be shut down. We were told specifically that those times are over. We then received further confirmation in writing that both activities were in the same boat. We go into much greater detail on this topic in both of our previous follow-up statements, which I have read. Actually, no, I apologize. Smash World Tour put a follow-up statement to when Nintendo said we didn't shut them down, they did it on their own accord. Well, I was occupied with doing the other parts of this and the whole Game Awards thing, so I did not read Smash World Tour's follow up on that. Though at this point, I don't think I need to because we're past that stage of this. I guess this is the email they received. If you're gonna black this shit out, at least leave this part of what the email is attached to. Who from, like, where's this email coming from? For all I know, this email could be from like fartsniffer27@aol.com. Like, you gotta show where this is coming from. If this situation has proven anything, it's you better have some pretty fucking good receipts. If I ever get involved in like any kind of like business deals, I am recording every conversation. I am not ending up in a situation like this. And this is when Alan's like, you were lied to, your goodwill is both being weaponized and abused. They juxtaposed their entire relationship with Nintendo. Tournament organizers that they would most likely not receive a license agreement prove any sort of undermining Smash World Tour's relationship with Nintendo. To reiterate, we never claimed in any of our statements that Panda undermined our relationship with Nintendo, but rather that Panda undermined our relationship with the tournament organizers who were told repeatedly we'd be shut down soon. And I've seen multiple things on Twitter alongside in their statement of people hearing while they were at these events. It's like, yeah, no, word is that Smash World Tour ain't gonna be a thing. I can try and find one really quick, actually. All right, multiple tournament organizers corroborated our claims, which is why we thought we could even come forward with it in the first place. Where is that? That's at the end of the thing we were reading. Okay, so this is current. Where is the proof of them saying that tournament organizers were being told they were not going to be a thing Smash World Tour? Well, we've got this guy here bringing in the receipt on that. The only time oh fuck, going right back to L Deep. He even has his own thread. Holy shit. Then when tournament organizers didn't immediately sign on to the Panda Cup, Alan started dropping vague comments about the dangers of being unlicensed and possibilities of shutdown. To say that this behavior shouldn't be taken as threatening is either deliberately deceitful or shows a total lack of business acumen. Neither great traits in a guy who is telling you to give him the keys to your events and all of Smash based on trust and little else. Man, the whole community is coming together. They are not a fan of Alan. That second tournament organizer, he mentions in his follow-up thread that Alan was like, Smash World Tournament is dead, so that's another one corroborating that. Back to Bobo, the original one to come out about it. One thing for sure that was constantly reiterated in our calls, that the Smash World Tournament would be canceled, that Smash World Tour was blacklisted, that all these other things were blacklisted, and that they were going to be eventually shut down. Because trust me, I know. We're getting multiple people shooting that down, that he never ever made claims that Smash Tour was going down. Whereas they're pointing it, no, he didn't ruin their relationship with Nintendo. He ruined their relationship with tournament organizers so that they would go to Panda. I can corroborate that at Summit in November 21, I was verbatim told that Smash World Tournament won't exist anymore, so being involved in both circuits was not something I'd have to worry about. Thank God people are grabbing this shit for me. Multiple organizers specifically did not want to join the Smash World Tour this year due to these warnings. This is also the reason why we brought this concern to Nintendo directly, and they said it would be addressed. Again, as mentioned in our original statement, multiple tournament organizers corroborated our claims. We saw that, which is why we could even come forward with it in the first place. So conclusion, Dr. Allen sums up his claims against the Smash World Tour as follows. He coordinated a lie about circumstances surrounding their license deal. They made a villain to blame it all on and come out as the heroes on top. Surely we are not even sure how to respond on at this point. We have put almost 3 years into the Smash World Tour, and we are very proud of what we were building. And it is very devastating to see even more damage done to the Smash community right before our eyes with a parting shot like this. Regardless of Dr. Allen's misinformed perspectives on the 2022 championships, he never addresses the entirety of the 2023 Smash World Tour being canceled or the issues VG Bootcamp is facing with their own individual events. That's where this statement came from. Okay. There are so many resources that have been irreversibly destroyed and so many who have been permanently hurt. It is incredibly frustrating that he would claim that all of that was one giant coordinated lie. We are struggling to even see the gain or win. He repeatedly mentions, like I brought up, how is anybody benefiting from this with Panda going down and World Tour going down? And you got Video Game Bootcamp talking about all this sponsorship and shit they're having to renegotiate for next year. If they can even pick this shit back up next year, there's like no benefit to any of this. We thank the community for taking the time to read all these statements, given all of you are likely as exhausted as we are. We are also incredibly grateful for all the continued community support. We understood it was a significant risk for others to come forward to share their story and corroborate the truth. As in our previous statements, we still stand by our request that Nintendo reconsider how it is currently proceeding with the relationship with the Smash community as well as its partners. We need to find a way to move forward as a community. Smash World Tour. Holy shit. I shouldn't be closing these tabs. I'm probably going to open them back up. I gotta read their Nintendo response though. This is wild. Yeah, this guy's right. I was like, dude, they censored that. That could have been anybody's email claiming to be a Nintendo. I would have loved to have just been like a fly on the wall in this whole situation. It's nuts. Like, I've been going at this for like 4 to 5 hours now, and I still don't know who to side with. Like, I don't want to side with like anyone in particular, but everybody seems to be growling against Allen. He did his 32-page summary to like paint himself in a better light, and as other people were saying, he's like he's coming off like he's the savior of the Smash community. He's gonna make everything much better, but it sounds like the methods he was going about to do it were shady as shit, and he was dishonest about the extent of them. He's like, I never did this or that. I was really nice about this and that. And other people are like, no, the fuck, it's not. This guy was incredibly shady. He got too big for his britches. Like, he thought he could be the one to seize the gap between Nintendo and the Smash community and make everything better. And then when things weren't going his way, he just did some shady shit to try and get the ball rolling. I will 100% say though that I do believe that they did nothing to influence Nintendo to go after Smash World Tour with that statement. I will wipe that off of my plate. I do not believe that one bit. That was definitely a thing between Smash World Tour and Nintendo. I am, however, strongly considering that what Allen said to these tournament organizers, whatever it was, whatever he did say to them, it painted Smash World Tour in a very negative aspect that was pulling that shit away from them so that they could go to Panda. I'm not saying he'd like push Smash World Tour over directly, but he threw a couple bricks in their path that they might stumble over. That's 100% sure. Because this is just still, at the end of the day, a bunch of he said, she said shit. Even with all these screenshots we've gotten, it's still, when you blur out all the names and shit, it's like, how do I know that's actually what's going on? This shit could be easily faked. It's crazy that we've gotten this much information on it and we still don't have a 100% black and white answer on it. This is just a giant gray area that the entire Smash community got fucked on big time. I did not know it was gonna go this bad whenever I first got into this. Like, this is nuts. I think this is the most I've been involved in something in all year. This is freaking wild. Yeah, there were a lot of holes in Allen's statement, big time, especially with the whole venue not even being planned. Once I saw that immediately being counter-argumented, I'm like, oh god, we're going in for this. I don't know what to take on this. I think I'll only throw a little bit more shade at Nintendo because I obviously have to do that. That's just kind of my thing. I'm not a fan of them, but it's like what was said earlier. It's like, okay, if Smash World Tour was allowed to keep operating, why the fuck would Nintendo plant any seeds of doubt that anything unlicensed is a no-go, and that what they are currently doing and what they will be doing for next year is unlicensed? Even though the email that Smash World Tour put out about that screenshot, I cannot believe that 100%. I would like to believe it. I would like to have a clear good guy and bad guy in this, but after like so much shit having counter arguments thrown at it, I don't even know who to believe anymore. I think the only thing I can kind of take word is with Ken, because there seems to be nothing but just positive feedback to what Ken's going on about from his boss and other tournament organizers, saying how they've worked with him in the past and they trust him and whatnot. And meanwhile, these same tournament tournament organizers are throwing as much shade at Alan as possible, despite Alan's statement of having good intentions with them. It's like the burden of proof keeps falling back on Alan, even though I'm pretty sure he's done after this, man. Whether or not he's the good guy or the bad guy or just misguided in this whole thing, what happened to him, according to what he said, dude's life is fucked. He's got people threatening him and his family and people related to him. People can't even come to his defense. It's incredibly fucked up how this situation's going. It's so fucked up we can't even get like a clear statement. I would love to have an email that's just, yes, Trey person man at Nintendo says this, or hey, this tournament organizer from this, and this. We can't get that because then you're just doxing that person. We've seen how fucking violent and savage this fucking community can get when shit like this goes down. I don't know if we're ever gonna get a clear, concise answer on this. Like, I don't know if this is the peak of the mountain on information. Something else might probably come out. I don't think it's gonna be from Alan. It might be something from Beyond the Summit. Hell, even Nintendo might come out and make a statement on this. They actually might. This has gotten really big. I feel like they have to say something now. There just needs to be like a all smoke and mirrors is gone. We need to know what happened big time. So I don't even know how I'm going to piece this video together. I don't know how concisely edited this is going to be. This has been on my mind all day on how I'm going to approach this. I tried doing my whole, I'll even show it to you just because I've been talking about it, but you haven't seen it. I've tried doing my whole like bullet point synopsis statement, pulling quotes and whatnot. I even had screenshots in it, but it kept filling up so much and I kept going back and changing shit. At the point I'm like, I might as well just read the highlights of the argument, because I was putting this much effort into just what Alan's statement was, and I still had like the world tour statement, and then I had a bunch of Twitter threads I had to go through after that. So we kind of just like jumped the gun on this one, man. And if this isn't concise and you're just as confused as I am at the end of this, I apologize. This is wild, man. I'm losing my voice just talking about this. This is freaking nuts, man. I'm gonna be up past midnight editing this. I gotta get this out for shit, man. Ugh. Hopefully we get another beacon of information to shed a clearer light on the situation, but I don't know where we're gonna go from this. I just hope something can happen to where we can start building the pieces back together and get things going good again for 2023, because after that Beyond the Summit Smash thing I watched a couple days ago, I think that's it for the year. Because I know Panda says they just push back the due date, but if the fallout from this is as bad as this is being portrayed, I don't think we're gonna be getting it this year. Or if they would even be allowed to cancel under like a partnership with Nintendo. And who knows how that's gonna go. You have so many fucking people mad about this. I don't even know how it would go if people showed up to that venue. It's wild. Gaming's wild. You're wild. I don't know, man. Have a good night.